Wolverine Good to Great Assessment Number 3. Read the passage and answer the questions that follow. Excerpt from The 2 Years Before the Mast by Richard Henry Dana. The first day we passed at sea was Sunday. As we were just from port and there was a great deal to be done on board, we were kept at work all day, and at night the watches were set and everything was put into sea order. When we were aft to be divided into watches, I had a good specimen of the manner of a sea captain. The definition of aft is at, close to, or toward the stern or tail. After the division had been made, he gave a short characteristic speech. Now, my men, we have begun a long voyage. If we get along well together, we shall have a comfortable time. All you've got to do is to obey your orders and do your duty like men. Then you will fare well enough. If you don't, you will fare hard enough, I can tell you. If we pull together, you will find me a clever fellow. If we don't, you will find me a rascal. A rascal is a rascal. That's all I've got to say. Go below and larboard watch. Larboard is the left side of the ship when facing forward. I, being the starboard, the right side of the ship when facing forward, or second mate's watch, had the opportunity of keeping the first watch at sea. Stimson, a young man like myself, his first voyage, was in the same watch, and as he was on the son of a professional man and had been in a merchant's counting room in Boston, we found that we had some acquaintances and topics in common. We talked these matters over. Boston, what our friends were probably doing, our voyage, etc., until he went to take his turn at the lookout and left me to myself. And now a good opportunity for reflection. I felt for the first time the perfect silence of the sea. The officer was walking the quarter deck where I had no right to go. One or two men were talking on the forecastle. The forecastle is any sailor's quarters located in the forward part of a vessel, whom I had little inclination to join, so that I was left open to the full impression of everything about me. However, much I was affected by the beauty of the sea, the bright star, and the clouds driven swiftly over them. I could not but remember that I was separating myself from all the social and intellectual enjoyments of life. Yet, strange as it may seem, I did then and afterwards take pleasure in these reflections, hoping by them to prevent my becoming insensible to the value of what I was losing. But all my dreams were soon put to flight by an order from the officer to trim the yards. As the wind was getting ahead, I could plainly see by the looks the sailors occasionally cast to windward, and by the dark clouds that were fast coming up, that we had bad weather to prepare for, and I had heard the captain say that he expected to be in the Gulf Stream by 12 o'clock. In a few minutes, 8 bells were struck, the watch called, and we went below. I now began to feel the first discomforts of a sailor's life. The steerage in which I was lived was filled with coils of rigging, spare sails, old junk, and ship stores, which had not been stowed away. Moreover, there had been no berths put up for us to sleep in, and we were not allowed to drive nails to hang our clothes upon. The sea, too, had risen. The vessels was rolling heavily, and everything was pitched about in grand confusion. There was a complete hurrah's nest, as the sailors say, everything on top and nothing at hand. A large hawser, which is a heavy rope for mooring or towing, had been coiled away on my chest. My hats, boots, mattress, and blankets had all fetched away and gone over to leeward, and were jammed and broken under the boxes and coils of rigging. To crown all, we symptoms of seasickness and the listlessness and inactivity which accompanied it. Giving up all attempts to collect my things together, I lay down on the sails, expecting every moment to hear the cry, "All hands ahoy!" which the approaching storm would make necessary. I shortly heard the raindrops falling on deck, thick and fast. The watch evidently had their hands full of work, for I could hear the loud and repeated orders of the mate, trampling of feet, creaking of the blocks, and all the accompaniments of coming storm. In a few minutes, the slide of the hatch was thrown back, which let down the noise and tumult of the deck, still louder, and the cry of "All hands ahoy! Tumble up here and take it in sail!" saluted our ears. The hatch was quickly shut again. When I got up on deck, a new scene and new experience was before me. The little brig was close hauled upon the wind and lying over, as it then seemed to me, nearly upon her beam's end. The heavy-headed sea was beating against her bows with the noise and force almost of a sledgehammer and flying over the deck, drenching us completely through. The topsail halyards had been let go, and the great sails were filling out and backing against the mast with a noise like thunder. The wind was whistling through the rigging, loose ropes were flying about, loud and to me unintelligible orders constantly given and rapidly executed, and the sailors singing out at the ropes in their hoarse and peculiar strains. In addition to all this, I had not got my sea legs on, was dreadfully seasick with hardly strength enough to hold on to anything, and it was pitch dark. This was my condition when I ordered aloft for the first time to reef topsails. All right, number 1. What does paragraph 2 reveal about the sea captain? A, he expects complete submission from his crew. B, he is afraid the sailors might revolt against him. C, he has had trouble with disrespectful crew members in the past. Or D, he thinks the sailors are defiant and irresponsible. Number 2, how does this speech emphasize the sea captain's perspective? A, he is directing the crew to be industrious. B, he is threatening the crew against defying him. C, he is warning the crew of the dangers they will face. Or D, he is encouraging the crew to get along with each other. In paragraph 3, what did the narrator mean when he said he had little inclination to join the men talking on the forecastle? A, he didn't have to join them. B, he didn't need to join them. C, he didn't expect to join them. Or D, he didn't want to join them. What quotation from the paragraph best supports the correct answer in question 3? A, I had now a good opportunity for reflection. B, I felt for the first time the perfect silence of the sea. C, I had no right to go. D, I could not but remember. Or E, I was losing. What effect does the first sentence of the paragraph 4 create in the passage? A, it suggests that the narrator will soon find himself dissatisfied with life at sea. B, it provides an explanation for why the narrator has difficulty sleeping. C, it signals a shift from the meditative mood of the narrator to a sense of foreboding. D, it emphasizes the difference between the narrator and the more experienced sailors. Number 6. In paragraph 4, what is the significance of the narrator's action to the complete hurrah's nest of his belongings in the steerage cabin? A, it indicates a realization of the difficult conditions that he will face on the voyage. B, it shows that he is reconsidering the wisdom of his choice to become a sailor. C, it should suggest he will have an even stronger reaction to the more intense scene on the deck. Or D, it symbolizes that he has a tendency to give up easily when a situation is beyond his control. Number 7. How does having the narrator below deck when the storm strikes affect the plot? A, it shows that the narrator is eager to prove himself as a new sailor. B, it emphasizes the narrator's inexperience when he is called on deck. C, it explains why the narrator feels seasick and is unable to help on deck. Or D, it increases the sense of drama when the narrator goes back on deck. A, what is the central idea of the passage? The narrator fears for his life during the storm. B, the narrator is not prepared for life on the ship. C, the narrator wishes he hadn't agreed to go on the sea. Or D, the narrator believes sailors should be treated better. 9. Which detail best states the central idea? A, I was separating myself from all the social and intellectual enjoyments of life. B, we were allowed no light to find anything with. C, drenching us completely through. Or D, I had not got my sea legs on.